What's with all the maladaptive daydreaming hate videos lately? I don't know about you, but I've been seeing more and more videos calling it out. Some even going as far as comparing it to schizophrenia, like it's something broken that needs to be fixed. But what if it's not a disorder at all? What if it's a gift? In ancient times, the physical world was called Maya, which means illusion. Many cultures believed reality was layered, that what we see is just the surface of something far deeper. So what if the people who drift away in thought aren't escaping reality but accessing more of it? It wouldn't be the first time society pathologized something sacred. There was a time when enslaved people who dared to dream of freedom were diagnosed with a so-called mental illness called Drapetomania. That was the actual name. They medicalized the desire to be free. Imagine that your soul cries out for liberation and they call it insanity. But now we look back and call that what it truly was: vision, resistance, hope. And think about this in medieval times. If you talked about invisible forces making people sick, they laughed at you, they called you superstitious, crazy. Then we invented microscopes. Suddenly germs were real. Suddenly washing your hands wasn't strange, it was science. You weren't crazy, you were early. So what if it's the same with daydreaming? What if these vivid inner worlds, the wars, the romances, the futures, the memories aren't delusions at all? What if they're glimpses into something just beyond what we currently know how to measure? There's a girl in one of these videos who talks about fighting in a war. And I can't help but think of all the ancient texts, scriptures, scrolls, tablets that speak of a spiritual war happening beyond the veil, a war most can't see, but some can feel. What if some of us came here remembering things this world wants us to forget? What if some of us were sent here not to blend in but to carry codes? What if the dreamers are soldiers scattered through the matrix, lighting sparks in places starved of light? Some say we came here with missions, not just to work, pay bills and die, but to remember, to rebuild the pieces of reality that others forgot how to hold. You think it's just imagination? What if it's soul recall? Science is still catching up. They barely understand consciousness, but they're quick to call anything unfamiliar a malfunction. What if we're not maladaptive? We're multidimensional. What if our brains were never designed to fold neatly into the factory setting? A lot of the dreamers today are being diagnosed as neurodivergent. They rock back and forth, they spin, they pace, they stare into space for hours, lost in worlds no one else can see. They call it autism, ADHD, sensory processing, and maybe those labels help some people, but have you ever wondered, what were they called before? In ancient times, maybe they were the ones who became shamans, cyreses, oracles, spiritual warriors who could walk between realms because their minds were wired differently. But fast forward to more recent history, and suddenly those same minds are locked in hospitals, lobotomized, medicated into silence, told to sit still and be normal, until they learned to play by the rules and forgot what they came here to do. And now we're collectively gaslighting ourselves, gaslighting each other, gaslighting the next generation into believing that being different is a sickness, that dreaming is a defect, that stillness is laziness, that imagination is delusion. They give it a soft name now, paracosm, a fancy word for imaginary world. But who decides what's imaginary? Who gave them the right to call your sacred space a symptom? Anyone can pathologize what they don't understand, but that doesn't mean it was ever meant to be labeled. That doesn't mean it was ever meant to be cured. And here's another thing. When humans are trying to survive in the wild, we watch the animals. We observe what they eat, what they avoid, what they do when they're scared or calm or hurt. We learn what's poisonous by watching their instincts. So maybe we should do that now. Because have you ever heard of zoochosis? It's a term used for animals in captivity who exhibit abnormal, repetitive, seemingly purposeless behaviors, pacing, staring, rocking, over-grooming. Sound familiar? Maybe it's not dysfunction. Maybe it's adaptation. Maybe something down here is wrong and our bodies and minds are doing the only thing they know how to do to cope in a system that was never natural to begin with. Maybe we are not malfunctioning. Maybe we are responding truthfully, honestly, instinctually to an environment that is fundamentally out of alignment with our spirit. Maybe it's not about healing the dreamer. Maybe it's about healing the world that made them feel like dreaming was wrong in the first place. Because here's the wildest part. While they convince us to call our dreams dysfunction, the 1% treat the physical world like their personal daydream. They bend laws, borders, and time to fit their fantasy. They print money from thin air. They build sky palaces while we count pennies. They sell you the illusion of choice while living in a reality most of us aren't even allowed to imagine. And still, they call us the crazy ones. Maybe we're not maladaptive. Maybe we're remembering what it means to be truly human in a system that forgot. Maybe the reason you can't stop daydreaming is because this world doesn't offer you what your spirit came here to build. Maybe your daydreams are blueprints. Maybe they're not distractions, but directions. And maybe you don't fit in because you were never meant to. Maybe you came to dream what others forgot was possible. Because not everyone can see it, but that doesn't mean it's not real. Keep dreaming. You might be the bridge between what is and what's